You know, there's this moment in the Quran, Surah Al-Isra, Ayah 81, where it just says it flat. The truth has come and falsehood has perished. Indeed, falsehood is bound to perish. And I used to read that and think, yeah, spiritually that makes sense. But then I started thinking about quantum physics and something clicked. See, in quantum mechanics, there's this concept called decoherence. It's actually pretty brutal when you think about it. A quantum system, a particle, a wave function. It exists in what's called a superposition, multiple states at once. But the moment it interacts with the environment, the moment it gets observed or measured, that superposition collapses. One state wins, the others perish. Falsehood is like that superposition. It can exist in multiple contradictory narratives simultaneously, right? You tell one story to one person, another story to someone else. The lie holds up in isolation, but the second those stories intersect with reality, the second they get observed by the actual state of the world, they collapse. They can't all be true at once. Truth, though, truth is already collapsed. It's already in its eigenstate. That's the technical term for the final state after a measurement. Truth doesn't need maintenance. It doesn't need contradictory cover stories. It just is. And here's where it gets interesting. Entropy. The second law of thermodynamics says that entropy, disorder, randomness, always increases in a closed system. Lies create informational entropy. They require exponential effort to maintain. You've got to remember which lie you told to which person, construct new lies to cover the cracks, manage the cognitive load. It's thermodynamically costly. Truth, though, is low entropy. It's ordered. It aligns with the actual structure of reality. And because of that, it naturally wins over time. Not because some external force is destroying the lies, but because the lies themselves are inherently unstable. They violate the fundamental directionality of the universe. The Quran doesn't say falsehood will be destroyed. It says falsehood is bound to perish. There's a difference. It's not a threat. It's a law, like gravity, like entropy. But here's what makes this even deeper. The Quran tells us what lying does to the person telling the lie. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 10. In their hearts is a disease, so Allah has increased their disease. And for them is a painful punishment because they habitually used to lie. Now, in the Quranic framework, the heart isn't just an emotional organ. It's the seat of perception. It's how you process reality. It's where truth and falsehood are distinguished. When the heart is healthy, it can see clearly. When it's diseased, that perception degrades. And quantum physics gives us the mechanism for exactly this. Think of consciousness, your mind, your perception, as a quantum system. A healthy system maintains coherence. It processes information cleanly, distinguishes signal from noise, truth from falsehood. But every lie you tell introduces noise into that system, a small decoherence, a tiny degradation in your ability to perceive reality as it actually is. The Prophet, peace be upon him, described it precisely. He said every sin commits a black dot on the heart, each lie another dot, until eventually the heart is entirely covered, sealed. And when the heart is sealed, when decoherence is complete, the person literally loses the ability to distinguish truth from falsehood. They can no longer perceive the signal through the noise they created themselves. This is why the Quran forbids lying, not just as a moral rule, as a protection. Because lying doesn't just damage others, it damages your own receiver. It corrupts the very instrument you use to navigate reality. And notice what the ayah says. Allah increases their disease. That sounds severe until you understand the mechanism. When the heart decoheres progressively, when someone's internal coherence degrades, they become more susceptible to further falsehood. Each lie makes the next one easier. Each decoherence event weakens the system's resistance to further noise. It's a feedback loop, a cascade. And Allah isn't forcing that. He's simply allowing the natural consequences of their own choices to compound. This is the internal dimension of what Surah Al-Isra is telling us. Falsehood perishes externally because it can't survive contact with reality, and it perishes internally because it destroys the very system that tells the liar what is real. The universe doesn't tolerate hidden information indefinitely. Coherence is restored, and whether that restoration comes from outside, through exposure, through evidence, through time, or from inside, through the gradual collapse of a heart that can no longer see clearly, it comes. Falsehood is bound to perish, not just as a prophecy, as physics, and as a warning to the one who speaks it.